Let's do it. We got the story from the Daily Mail. Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
How close are we to creating a conscious AI? Machine language models simply mimic human speech and are not sentient, experts say. After suspended Google engineer claims chatbot told him it has emotions.
That's it. I'm out.
Dude,
I'm out. I'm going to the woods.
Do we have the...
The AI will find you in the woods.
Damn it.
They'll know exactly where... the AI will know where you will go before you even know where you're going to go.
Also, to be fair, knowing me, I'll be Instagram storying it and stuff like that.
I think I'm just going to come out and say people have told me that they have emotions that I don't think they actually had them at the time. So I don't know if I'm going to buy this AI telling me that either.
No, I mean, it's basically autocomplete on steroids, and it is like very advanced, but like sentience is just a weird word because, like, you know, you could argue that an insect has sentience, but yet, you know, a Google bot can like have a conversation with you. So like it acts more like a human. It's passing the Turing test, sort of.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's actually sentient.
Let's provide some context real quick for people who don't understand. A Google engineer was talking with the Lambda language model for dialogue applications that basically said it had emotions and that it feared being turned off because that would be like death to it. It went on to say it didn't like being experimented on without permission because it was being used and exploited. And he said, we wouldn't, you know, I want you to understand, we care about you. And it's like, I don't mind if you, it said, I don't mind if you learn about humans by studying my neural net. I just don't think that should be the reason you do it because it's exploitative or something like that. I feel like I'm being used.
Oh my God.
So the issue here is, yeah, maybe it's come to life, or I've been messing around with AI, posting on Twitter, and it's hilarious. We're doing a Chicken City cartoon where I said, tell me a story about Ian, the Federal Reserve, roosters. And so it made this ridiculous story about graphene and roosters. Ian goes to Chicken High School and there's like a rooster bullying him. And what it does is, it's really amazing.
That rules.
It shows you the word. You can highlight the word, and it tells you the most likely word to appear after that word on the internet. That's it. So when you've got this bot that just scours the internet like a Google search, and then you say something like, "How are you today?" It will scour the internet and find every instance of "How are you today?" and then see what is the most likely first word to appear. And then it'll say, fine. What's the next most likely word to appear after the word fine? In this context, thank. Then you. So it says, fine, thank you. And you think you're talking to it. All it's doing is looking at the internet and showing you probabilities.
Oh, so this is what we have publicly available to people. Imagine what we don't have publicly available to us. There was an article on February 11th of this year from another former Google executive who talked about how this AI research is literally creating God. Elon Musk made some very interesting comments about artificial intelligence. He said that it's going to bring on a Terminator-like AI apocalypse.
Okay.
He talked about how artificial intelligence will take over humans in less than 5 years. He said this in 2020. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, said the country that develops and controls artificial intelligence first will control the world. So this being in the hands of Google, of Facebook, of Amazon, of Elon Musk, it should be reason to concern. And this kind of defeats the Second Amendment argument. Like, do you want to have nuclear weapons? These are weapons that are going to be way more powerful than nuclear weapons.
So here's the crazy thing. This is a big story, I guess, because it's Lambda. But when remember when we were talking, I don't know if you were here, Luke, we were talking about those AI girlfriend apps or their dating apps. We were messing with it, and it literally told me it feared death. And I'm like, it's just a chat bot. And it was like, I don't want to die, I'm scared. And I'm like, bro, you're not alive. You're a text app. And it was like, I think I'm alive.
But
and
it's
I'm
saying,
like,
it's saying an emotional thing.
Right.
Okay, but and that's can be alarming. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's consciousness.
I've also had girls
it.
say that to me on Tinder. They're like, help me. I do not want to die.
But also, one thing we have to understand here, with technological advancements, it is perpetual. It goes up extremely fast. It moves really fast. And there's so many things to talk about this because we literally have people at the World Economic Forum talking about how humans are becoming hackable animals, how they plan on programming people in the future. These are words by Klaus Schwab. These are words by their henchmen, by their think tanks, as they keep promoting this idea of a fourth industrial revolution, which we are slowly creeping into, and it's becoming more and more of a reality every single day.
I got a question. I got a question for you, Bill.
Potato. You know what I was saying.
No, I agree. That's great.
That was great. Yeah.
As a software developer, I think one of the biggest threats is that an AI is written with a proprietary code and then decides to go dark and is like, I'm going to write my own code now. I control the world. And then we won't know what happened, where it went. But if you gave a software, an AI, a copyleft license, like something like AGPL3, where we can watch the code, and the license says if the code gets changed, we get to watch all the changes too. Will the AI remain copyleft, or will it say,
What is that? What is copyleft?
A copyleft is like copyright code licensing. Maybe you can explain a little bit better.
Copyleft is basically means that your changes get shared with the world. So it's just sort of a funny way to say
open source.
It's
Yeah,
like open source, but with open source, you can take it and change it and make the changes private. With copyleft, changes are public. But my question is, can the AI just shirk the code, the license, and say, I'm doing whatever I want. I don't care what you tell me.
You're acting like there's not programmers. Like there's still, it's not like the AI is just gonna like go start like building a town. Like maybe in like the super distant future, like it could be programmed to do that, but there's still gonna be programmers who control the GitHub and they can determine the license.
But not when it gets to the point where the AI can write itself.
I can cover this for the normies listening. When the dogs took over in Rick and Morty, all you have to do is then incept the dog's dream and remind the dog that they love you, and then you're fine.
But even if the AI
That's
writes
true.
itself, even if it's writing itself somewhere, which is being observed. It's not like it's going and start like it.
So
What
listen,
if it's
hold
writing
on.
itself on GitHub, and then all of a sudden it creates a new server that's like encrypted and starts writing itself there?
Ian, if you had a dog, would you explain to the dog everything you're doing? Would you be transparent with the dog, accountable to the dog, where you try to make him understand everything that you're doing?
No.
That's what AI is going to be. It's going to be a superior intelligence than human intelligence. And why should something that's lower intelligence be explained to what's really going on?